Okay, so we are live here, and it's the next to last weekend before the Endless Engines Challenge is completed. And as you can see, working on my car. Now I'm trying to get the windows right, and I don't know. Let me show you. Well, I got the front window doesn't look too terrible. Trying to work on the back window. You can see I have new doors. I got lights. I still have to work on the back, but made a fair amount of progress this weekend, and this is pretty much it. Let me show you something else that I did this weekend. Let me show you what the car actually looks like in a scene. I'm going to bring this in here. Whoop. Trying to move the picture here so you can see where I am. Oh, you're not seeing it. Let me add see if I can add this. I should be sharing the whole screen. I'm not sure. What am I sharing here? Let's try sharing again. Share screen. Window. No, entire screen is what we want. And so hopefully you can see that. Now that's better. You can see the entire car and what it looks like. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. You can see the window. I'm still trying to get that straight. But you can see, go back here and make it bigger and it up so you can see. Now the reason I went with this background here is because it gives me a better idea of how lighting might look. Now it's still some of the lumps are, I think, back, but too bad. I think the hood looks pretty good. This is not going to be a perfect car. This is the first time I ever did anything like this, so uh, I am not John Dickinson or the gentleman who actually was the instructor in that course. So I'm not going to get that. But I really wanted to do this and I learned a lot. The most important thing that I learned, let me move this out of the way so I can actually, is topology. Now I'm going to turn off subdivision surface. And you can see most of my topology is fairly is quads. Now this could be cleaned up a little bit here. There's something a little funny going on down there. And what happens is even something weird going here that I just noticed. So what you got to do in that case is try to straighten it out. And one of the big things that I found is one of the most useful things is the weld, because when you're putting stuff together, you can see it fixes it. You tend to get points at different layers, at different levels, and it kind of gets things a little messed up. Now you can see if you get close, so we're not going to be that close. It's not that I don't know if they'll even be able to. You can see here we got like a little. Got these, and ideally what I may want to do is stretch go to this window here, which I called front window. And you turn bowl off. What I could do is, what? Gotta get back to here. What I can do is select these points and let me control, and that's going to get rid of these, and just pull this down, maybe this one too. For some reason this one was not selected. Let's pull this one down separate. And actually, pull this out a little. This one isn't working quite as well as I would have hoped, so we're gonna zoom in here and try to make this a little bit so I get that little pointy thing. And bring this front, which we need. And we'll put this one. And we're gonna have to put this one farther back. I'm gonna have to play with this because this isn't quite what I want. To get it to how I want to actually make it to look. So we're gonna have to work on this, but this is part of trying to get done at this point. That doesn't look too bad. Getting some weird light effects here. And I don't know why that's the case, but it looks a bit, as I turn on subdivision surfaces, and you can see this point is still little. Bring that back a little bit. So that's my front window. And the back window I'm still working on. But I did also, I'm having this in the background. Let me fix that. This is why I do an edited version. I'm going to do an edited version. So, anyway, this is where I am. But let me show you, I made wheels. Let's see if I can open that. You can see I keep saving. And that's important because this way you can always go back. If you really, the save incremental is a lifesaver. If something gets really hosed up, you can fix that and go back. You can go back to a previous good state. There's really See, in the programming world, you have source control, and source control is great because it allows you as the user to go back to any previous point. So let's say you make a big change in your code and it's working, it's great. You put it in source control, and let's say you break it, you can unbreak it. It's not quite the same thing with the 3D programs. However, you could use what I'm doing is taking advantage of the save incremental. And I look at this, I have how many here? 92 versions. We got 92 versions going on, but that means that I can go back if I need to. If I look at something and it just looks terrible, I can fix it. I can go back and redo it. So that is what we got going on here. But let me show you the wheels. I kind of like my wheels. They are not that because in the interest of time, um, I was not able to see. They keep hubcap fixed. And you can see that. Let me show you what it looks like. I made a rubber. Let's make this a little smaller so you can actually see it. So this is against the background again. So it looks, I'm happy with the way it looked. It is not an authentic looking. If you look at the actual reference images here, you can see I've got 5 points, but they're thinner, they're thicker, and also they actually go out from the middle and then bulge in. But in the interest of time, I did something that I can actually accomplish. And I actually think they look pretty good. I mean, it would be nice once my modeling skills, get even better to have something like, be able to get the wheels just so, to be able to do something that complex. But need a bit more practice for that to happen. So let's see what else I want. So I showed you the wheels that I'm gonna replace with and I made a custom. Well, what I did do, and I think it's in this version. Maybe not. I know I have a version. Let's close this. We're not going to change anything. We're going to go back and open project. Here we go. Version 10. Version 10, I actually, nope, not this one either. Okay. I'm going to sort by name. You can find the hubcaps quicker. Okay, we got version up to 15 on this here. Is this 15? Oh, no, that's not what I want. Well, I did make, let me see where I can find it. I made a custom hubcap. I mean, a custom material that takes advantage of wheel. Maybe hubcap. I get to 15. Hubcap fixed. Hubcap fixed 11. Here we go. This is what I want to show you. This here is a rubber, so it's not super glossy. And that was the whole point of this. And why is this? There we go. So here's what it looks like when it's rendered. So it's a little more rubbery looking, a little bit better. And let me show you this. So I went to, actually, I got it within the asset browser in Cinema, and I just put it together. I got the albedo, the color, the specular, the roughness, the this is the normals, and they made them all box transform, and I came up with this rubber. So the very simple way of putting it together. So coming back here, let's get rid of this. This is an older, let me show you this versus 92. This is, you can see I've got some funky geometry here. And I had done quite a bit of fixing. You got the hole there. So I spent a fair amount of time going through the geometry, trying to make it, as I said, one of the big things is getting rid of these. When you have, sometimes you'll have 2 points when you're trying to make something, trying to straighten that out. So this is 92, and this is what we have now. Now if I turn off subdivision surfaces, you can see most of it is pretty much in quads. The hood isn't quite, but you can see how most of it is, and I got the back fairly straight, and I actually tried to make it more in the shape of what it's supposed to look like. So if you see, see if you go back, so it's kind of needs to be in this shape, and I still need to do this back window and the hood, which you can see coming from kind of a rectangular thing, and you can probably see it better on my top view. So what we would do, and this was another issue I ran into, all these lines that just don't, if you go to Boolean, you see these lines here? These are, and you can just, I'm trying to get rid of as many of them as I can. Sometimes you can just delete them. Let's see if that's gonna, yeah, a lot of these can just be deleted. We don't want to do that. We want, now you're getting in close to actual, and this was because, You kind of, and that cleans things up quite a bit. So I'm still, seeing little thing now. This did cause this problem here, which, uh, go into point mode. I'm going to turn off this, uh, bowl 2, which is actually the door. And I'm going to see if I can fix this. This doesn't matter because it's going to be covered up. But this does. And this is also why you save versions, because if I can't fix it, what? I'm not on my Python pen. Damn, Lauren seems to be not letting me make a polygon here. Well, let's try this. The other thing you can do is you can... Am I in line mode or point mode? You can... Oh, okay, I got the polygon. No, that did not work. Let's see what it looks like. And did I cause any of those weird lines? No, it looks like I didn't cause a weird line. But it also looks like I have some other... Well, this was not a good idea. So let's... This is why... let's go. Sometimes it doesn't make... It's not such a good idea to try to hit the delete. If you can't dissolve it, you probably want to just live with it until you figure out how you can. But we got windows going on, and it's, again, this has been quite the effort because I am not an experienced modeler. So I'm hoping I can get... At this point, I just want something I can turn in. Because I'm not expecting to win anyway. You can't go in there to these things with that, think, yeah, I'm gonna win. Unless you're, a very experienced person, and you think, well, I have a chance. Like someone like my classmate who I mentioned, she's very good. She does this is her day job. This is what she does. So I think if she decided to enter, I think she has a chance of at least winning a T-shirt. Anyone, they already have 600 entrants. They're expected to have several thousand by the deadline next Sunday. And anyone who wins this, as far as I'm concerned, is a modeling god. um, because when you're competing against that many people, not something that it's easy to do. not something that is easy to do. So, as for this, let me get back to my plane here. And we want to go into object. We want to manipulate the entire object. And see, it has to be a little curvy. So what I think is going to end up, and I also want to see how it's lined up versus the, now you can see we may have to, I want this pretty much lined up the same way, although that may not be the case because see, this is still, and you can see it's a little bit bent, which I didn't think it was yet, but apparently it is. So the first thing is you almost have to go through this row by row and get this stuff lined up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this row of points here. And if my thing stops moving around, I find this Magic Mouse tends to so that tells me this is a little wonky here. I want to turn off subdivisions. And let's see if I can bring this point down a little bit, because I think this point's a little wonky. And this point may be a little wonky as well. So this is fairly well lined up. And it has to be raised a little bit. So we'll go back to our plane and we can pull these up and pull this out. And what's going to happen is we're going to go to the right here and we're going to actually what's going to have to happen is these points here are going to have to come down. And there you go. That should, we should bring, let's see what this looks like now. Okay. This, you look at front window. And this here has to, what I tried to do, what I probably need to do is bring this, this door, let's make this door. And these are lined up. So probably the problem here is, well, first of all, we want to bring these up. And we want to bring, this one up a little bit. But more importantly, and we probably want to bring this one in, more importantly, what I have to do is okay, so this is, maybe it can come out a tad, particularly around these areas. And you get something. So this, now we go back to our plane here. So this needs to come up. And you're going to have to probably do each of these individually. So what I'm doing is trying to get this, and raise these up a little bit. And Raise these up. Because this has that specific shape that you're trying to do. And you're basically going to have these points pretty much on top of each other. Um, I mean, there's just no way around it when you're coming to a point. So, see what it looks like. Okay, now these points here probably need to see what we got going on here. Yeah, these, now here's we got a problem. Gotta get real close. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to uh, get this back down and get these in line so that it will, so we'll be able to see them, but they're going to be, see. So what I need to do is line these up, and it looks like I got a problem here as well with maybe, no, yes, no, maybe. Yeah, I think these can go in a little bit, the ones on top of here. So I need to basically line these up. And actually, it doesn't look too bad. The front window. Back window, this back window is going to be a little difficult to, I have to get that together. Anyway, so you get the idea of what this involves in trying to, you're pushing points, but you're trying to keep the good topology. You're trying to keep squares. Because what happens is if you have something fishy and then you do a subdivision, you get a mess, is what you get. And you can see even this down here is not perfect. So I may do some more smoothing on here. So we got 1 week to go, and gotta stop moving this thing so much. The Space Mouse is great, but the problem with it is sometimes it's a little too sensitive. So what have we gotten from today? Um, well, we're coming to the end. I have something that's starting to look somewhat like what I want. I made some t- some tires. Let's see. I think I may have closed it. Made some tires. So I have something that is going to be just not a plain black thing. The next thing I have to do once I get the car somewhat how I want it is I have to put it in some kind of environment and animation. And let me remind you one other thing. They when he did his stream this week, this is the the animation here. So let me see if I can show you this. Where did my animation thing go? Okay, let's go to standard. That's the problem. Go back, and you can see what the general idea of what. So it comes in, and not people were keeping it, were actually um, keeping the camera um, were seemed to be having the thing move along with the camera. But this, you can see he did a very simple box car and wheels, and he doesn't even have the wheels turning, which of course is what we're going to need. You want it to look like it's actually driving. Um, and again, I can't touch the camera angle, so that's why he did it this way. And he discusses that again on the Discord. So now the question is an environment. Um, I'm not sure. I think there are two places a Ferrari belongs. Either on a racetrack, so you can do that sort of environment, or perhaps, some winding road where they can just, you know, feel the maneuverability and the speed and all this. But I think a racetrack may be a little easier. So we'll see. I'm just going to find some, that's kind of the least of my worries right now. The main thing is getting the car to look the way I want, and then I could worry about the glory of, an environment and so forth. The main thing I'm concerned about is keeping kind of somewhat the same view for all the entrants, because he does a puts them all together and one right after the other. So if someone had that card at one view and someone had one totally different view, you would have, it would not look good. It would not flow. And that's how he did movie meditations as well. Basically, here's the camera, um, and point the camera at the thing, and that's what you're supposed to do. You can't, you know, have your main character in all different places and move the camera around. So this way you get a consistent view. Anyway, I think that's going to be all for right now. We've been doing this for 40 minutes. My plan is to, in fact, edit this down to a something a little gets all the nonsense out. Um, just to make the point, your topology has got to be good, or you will get a mess. And you can see this one was considerably more a mess. Well, actually, this one is not that old. To show you one, let's go for one from like this one, like from, and you can see, actually, this looks like it was after I smoothed it. So I had no doors, no windows, no, I did put this back. I did put the hood in. So it was actually not in bad shape, except for, actually, even this is in good shape. but I didn't have this in the correct shape in the back. So once you start messing with doors and windows and headlights and things like that, it's a bit more of a challenge. Um, and like I say, there are a couple of ways to do this. The doors, I basically move the points around to get a door shape, and then did kind of a cutout, and you know, kind of extruded the original lower, and then stuck this on top. But I wanted it to be obvious that it was a door, and it's still not, the topology is probably going to need a little smoothing. I may do another smoothing run over the thing before I turn it in, because it's still kind of rough. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please ask. Again, I'm not an expert. This is my first attempt at doing a model anywhere near this complex. I did do some modeling in the first beginner's cinema class, but it was relatively simple. And the main thing I learned there is if you stick something in square in a subdivision or a rectangle, it's gonna, and you don't have enough lines, it's gonna turn into a blob. And adding the cuts back will make it work, make it look more like it's supposed to. So anyway, again, any questions? If you've enjoyed this or found it interesting or useful, then please, you know, subscribe and like and all that, so that if you subscribe, then you'll know when I go live or when I put out a new video, if you like the content. So anyway, thank you, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.